Imagine you had the ability to rewind time by exactly 5 seconds, and you could do it as many times as you wanted. At first, it sounds like a fun little trick, almost harmless. 5 seconds is barely enough time to tie your shoes, let alone change the world. But soon you'd realize that even the smallest ripples in time can become tidal waves if you stack them over and over. Let's say you're at a busy street corner, about to cross the road. A car comes a little too close, you get startled, and instinctively, you rewind time by 5 seconds. Now you know the car is coming, so you step back. No big deal, right? But your sudden movement causes the person behind you to trip, spilling coffee. You rewind again to avoid that. Now you're in the habit of fixing every little thing, every little mistake by hopping backward 5 seconds. You start to feel like you're dancing with time itself. At first, it's almost addictive. You drop your phone. Rewind. You say something embarrassing. Rewind. You miss the elevator by a second. Rewind. You're living in a perfect bubble where nothing bad ever sticks, at least for you. But here's the catch. Time isn't a neat, isolated thread. Every time you rewind, you aren't just changing your path, you're nudging everyone else's too. The world starts to feel off. You notice little things that don't quite line up. A bird that was flying left is now flying right. A conversation you overheard sounds slightly different the second time. People look at you strangely, as if they sense something's not quite right but can't explain why. Then comes the bigger temptation. What if you could chain these 5-second jumps together? Rewind once, twice, 10 times in a row. Suddenly you bought yourself nearly a minute in the past. Not enough to stop a war, but maybe enough to stop an accident. You find yourself in situations where 5 seconds can be the difference between disaster and safety, and you start using it like a tool. But the more you use it, the more you notice a strange side effect. Reality doesn't like being rewritten. Sometimes, when you rewind, the same moment doesn't play out exactly the same way. Maybe the glass you knocked over lands in a different spot. Maybe someone says a slightly different word. The changes are small at first, but then you start seeing faces you don't recognize in places you know. A friend tells you a story you swear they never lived through. And sometimes, when you rewind, you feel this strange resistance, like time itself is trying to snap back into place, and you're fighting against an invisible rubber band. One day, you decide to test the limits. You stand in your kitchen, a mug in your hand, and you let it slip. It shatters on the floor. You rewind. You hold it tighter. You let it slip again. You rewind. Over and over, you break it, undo it, break it, undo it. And something very unsettling happens. You notice the mug doesn't always shatter the same way. The pattern of cracks changes. Sometimes the pieces are bigger, sometimes smaller. And once, just once, you rewind, and the mug doesn't fall at all. It simply stays in your hand, even though you swear you let go. That's when it hits you. You're not just rewinding time, you're bending it, shaping it in ways it wasn't meant to be shaped. And the more you push, the more reality pushes back. Soon things escalate. You're in a crowded room, someone drops a plate, it hits the floor, everyone jumps. You rewind to prevent it, but when you do, the plate doesn't exist. It's just gone. People are confused, glancing at the empty spot where it should have been. You realize that each rewind isn't just a harmless do-over. It's a tear in the fabric of cause and effect. And tears can spread. You start dreaming about places you've never been, people you've never met. Sometimes you wake up and can't tell if you're in the original timeline or what the rewound was. You catch your own reflection in a mirror and swear, for just a heartbeat, it doesn't move in sync with you. One night, you're walking down a street when you hear the screech of tires. A car jumps the curb, heading straight toward a group of people. Without thinking, you rewind. You pull them out of the way. But when you do, the car doesn't appear at all. The street is empty, silent. The people you saved are staring at you like they've never seen you before, and maybe they haven't, not in this version of reality. It dawns on you that there might be a cost to all this. Maybe the more you rewind, the less anchored you become to any single version of time. You're slipping between branches of reality, flickering between possibilities like pages in a book, and one day, you might rewind into a world where you were never born. And here's the worst part. Maybe you've already done it. Maybe the world you're in right now isn't the original at all, but just one of countless rewinds stacked on top of each other, each one nudging reality further from where it started. You look around at the people, the buildings, the sky, and you wonder how much of it is real and how much is just the byproduct of your endless little corrections. You think about stopping, but the temptation is always there. 5 seconds is just enough time to fix a mistake, dodge a bullet, make the perfect choice. But now you're asking yourself, what if the mistake was rewinding in the first place? And as you stand there, caught between the urge to press that mental reset button and the fear of what might vanish next time you do, you can't help but wonder, how many times have you already rewound this exact moment? And if you did it again, would you even notice the difference? Or has time already decided it's had enough of you?